Let's have a look at Donald Trump and the negotiations that he's about to have with Vladimir Putin to try and, as he says, solve or end Russia's war on Ukraine. Putin and Trump are set to meet in Saudi Arabia to discuss ending the war. This is after his 90-minute phone call. Trump has also spoken with Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky. There's also going to be Secretary of the State meetings in Munich later this week. Matt, do you have confidence that Trump will be able to sort this out in a way that isn't simply appeasing Russia?
Well, look, I hope that's the outcome we've got. I don't know. I don't trust anyone, I suppose, in this game. Sharri, we just got to be judged on results. That should be the yardstick, and obviously we don't have the results yet in from these discussions. I think it's a positive thing that discussions are occurring. I've called for that for years. I've felt that one of the most remarkable things about this conflict is the complete absence of any conversations to try and bring it to an end. Now, maybe that that possibility was not able to come to fruition in the last few years, but at the very least we should try for peace. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people probably have died. It's terrible. It's a massively inhumane circumstance, and the lack of any conversations to me was a missed opportunity to try and avoid more people from dying. So I fully support the new US president trying to bring the conflict to an end. Look, he'll be judged on the results he achieves, just like every other world leader and politician.
Yeah, and let's see where he gets to in that. Look, I want to show you this video. Now, believe it or not, these three women are among the most senior ministers in the Albanese government. Have a look. Oh, Basil, it's so embarrassing. I mean, how do they just don't seem serious when they behave like that. And aren't they too busy to spend presumably at least half an hour making some social media video?
Yeah, it's really an interesting part of modern politics and certainly modern campaigning. I'll be honest, it was very small on the screen and I hadn't seen it before, so I couldn't see the other detail, but I could see the sort of general carry-on that was taking place. So without commenting on the specifics, look, some people decide that we need to better engage with the Australian public, and this is a way of doing it. But I think when there are so many serious issues at play, by and large, the Australian population wants to see their ministers, their senior members of parliament, their prime minister and premiers around the state doing what their job is, being serious, giving us answers, giving us a future direction. And I'm not sure that was the right time or the right place.
Yeah, I think it's just not a good look. And I also don't know how they have time. They're meant to be federal government ministers. I don't know, surely they have more work to do than making social media videos. Just very quickly before we go, Matt Canavan, the coalition is calling on the government, specifically Chris Bowen, to rule out introducing carbon border tariffs. Now, this would be a carbon tax on imports from countries who aren't doing enough on climate change. This is a story in The Australian. Matt, is this a scare campaign from your team, or is this something that Chris Bowen is actually examining?
No, well, he's put out a media release on this about a year ago, saying that this was something, the next step the government would be considering. Obviously, if we put a carbon tax on our own industry, like this government has done, the problem is that our people, our businesses have higher costs, and potentially a lot of business in other countries that don't apply carbon tax do not. And so the idea here is that we need a tariff to level the playing field. To correct for the tax that we put in. One tax to correct for the tax that the government's put on already. Why don't we just get rid of all the taxes? That seems to me to make more sense. And here we've now got an inconsistency between the Energy Minister and the Treasurer. The Treasurer this week said that he would not impose retaliatory tariffs on the United States, even if the US does not provide us an exemption. Yet at the same time, Chris Bowen's there in his back pocket saying he would impose tariffs, and they would obviously go on the United States, given that a carbon tariff would go in the United States, given that Donald Trump has pulled out of the Paris Agreement.
Just crazy. All right. I mean, it's every idea that Chris Bowen has is more wacky than the last. So wacky that you
don't see
question
much of
whether
him
they're
anymore.
even
Where is he?
serious.
Where is
He's
he?
all on
No,
social media, like
good
those other
point.
ministers. Yeah, you can find him on TikTok, which I'm sure you're not on. Matt, being a critic of the CCP like I am.
No, I'm not. I'm not
All right,
on
Matt
TikTok.
Canavan, Basil Zemplis, great to see you both.